Welcome to Make It Rain with Adam Schein on VSiN, the sports betting network.
Oh, yes, Friday. Hello, Friday. Friday edition of Make It Rain with Adam Schein here on VSiN. And my goodness, we have so much to do today. Guys, we are a day away from the starts of the NBA postseason, the NHL postseason. We have picks, we have plays, we have predictions. We're going to lock things in. I am so fired up today to chop it up with you. We got an unbelievable weekend coming up in Major League Baseball. Great games and some pitching probables and some pitching numbers and props that you can gamble on tonight. Justin Termine, superstar, SiriusXM, NBA Radio, is going to join us to go over what he likes, and he'll give you our takes, of course, and predictions when it comes to the postseason. And listen, when we get the party started today, we have to start with the Diamondbacks and the Cubs. And I always like, before we start getting into the topics of the day, you have to make sure we give you some day ball action. And the Cubbies have just scored. 2-0 Cubs. 2-0 Cubs. Corbin Burnes on the bump for the Arizona Diamondbacks. And Burnesy was dealing. And you know my take when it comes to Arizona. I think this is an excellent ball club. Currently in fourth place when you take a look at it from a Diamondbacks NL West standpoint. Love Arizona, think they'll be fine. Cubs, I love when they were playing afternoon games like it should be at Wrigley Field, especially on a Friday. 2-0. We'll keep you updated middle of the third. Cubbies leading the Arizona Diamondbacks as we speak. NBA playoffs are heating up. VSiN's breaking it all down. From series odds to matchup breakdowns, you're going to find more of our NBA playoff coverage on VSiN Watch app. We're excited about that. And let's get into everything that is going on in the NBA. We are going to give you all of our picks, all of our predictions, everything that goes into the equation. And let's start with the Knicks and the Pistons. I'm going to game one tomorrow night. Can't wait. The ambiance is going to be amazing. And honestly, I expect an excellent game. I don't think this is going to be lopsided. Honestly, I think this point spread, and I say this as a Knicks fan, is crazy. And I want to stress, right, just for the sake of reference when it comes to this number, I was in the building last year, the exact same time, against Philly, and it was game one of the playoffs, and the crowd was off the charts. I expect the ambiance to be great, right? I think it's going to be phenomenal. I would be floored if the moment is too big for the Pistons. I think Cade Cunningham is too special for him to lay an egg in his first playoff game. I think bright lights, postseason, Broadway, New York City, Madison Square Garden, world's most famous arena, the A team for ESPN's doing the game with Mike Breen on hand. There's no way the moment is going to be too big. So I think the Pistons will come to play. I think the Knicks will win tomorrow. I think the Knicks will win this series. I think the Knicks will win in 6, and you can get that at plus 425, so some good value there. I think the series goes 6, so we locked this in earlier this week. I like the over for 5.5 games, minus 125. I think that makes a lot of sense in terms of a play and a pick and a prediction. So our best bets, so we're going to give you the best bets that we have on every single series. I'm taking the Pistons with the points tomorrow. 7.5 is way too big of a number. Way too big. And over 5.5 games, minus 115. I'm a diehard Knicks fan. Way too much respect. Way too much respect here when you look at it for the Detroit Pistons. So go New York, go New York, go. Ambiance is going to be great. Brunson's going to have a monster game. I don't trust Mikal Bridges as far as I can throw him. I do think Karl Anthony Towns is going to have a monster game, and I think that he's going to have a monster first postseason for the Knicks. So I'm fired up about that. But I do think that the Knicks will win this series. Close game. Give me Detroit with the points. coming up tomorrow. Bucks Pacers is going to be amazing. I can't wait for this. And listen, I think this game is going to be terrific. No Damian Lillard. I just checked my watch and it's broken, and he's not going, no Dame time tomorrow. But he should play throughout the course of the series, and that's important here. First of all, give me the Bucks tomorrow with the points. I can see Indiana winning. I think Milwaukee keeps it close, and I won't bat an eye if, in fact, they end up winning this game. I think the Bucks are going to win this series. We locked in Milwaukee to win this series, and you can get that at plus 155, and that's where we locked it in on Monday, which is great. I'm going to go with the Bucks to win this series in 7 games, and there's some big juice on that. So we'll go with the Bucks in 7. If you guys go back to that prior board, you'll see the juice that's attached to that at plus 600. So we will play that one in terms of the Bucks being able to win this series in 7 games. Now, I am banking on Dame coming back at some points. I do think he will, and I think he'll play well. Bucks are streaking. They've won a bevy of games down the stretch, 8 straight. Giannis has been unbelievable. I am concerned in terms of my pick. You know, Indiana's got a great home court, much better head coach. Halliburton's terrific. Love Obi Toppin. They play good defense. I think Giannis is almost a forgotten superstar coming into this NBA postseason. Kind of obsessed with the Lakers and the Timberwolves. And listen, Luka Doncic absolutely torched Minnesota last year in the Western Conference Finals. I love the Lakers laying the 4. I think the Lakers covering the spread, that is my best bet of the first weekend in the NBA. I'd be surprised if this is a Timberwolves win. I'd be stunned if this is a competitive game. I think, and when I say competitive, maybe it's a good game for 3+ quarters, and Lakers and Luka end up winning by 7 to 10 points. And I say Luka, I mean, the guy's averaging 30.9 points per game in the playoffs. That's second all time next to Michael Jordan. And obviously, every single time Luka plays, it's a referendum on the trade and proving Nico Harrison wrong. Austin Reeves was talking to the press about how J.J. Redick gave him a pep talk in terms of the laser focus and the energy. Crowd in L.A. Say whatever you want about the L.A. sports fan. I think it's garbage. The Lakers fan is amazing. That joint's going to be jumping. And I just don't think the Timberwolves are that good. So when you look at the series board, we're going Lakers in 5. You can get that at plus 400. I really think that that's good value here. I also think you look at the under 5.5 games. I think that's a good bet at plus 145. So we'll take the Lakers and we'll lay the lumber with LA, and we'll take the Lakers to win the series in 5 games. I can't wait for this series. James will have a big series. Doncic will have a big series. Reeves. And I just like the way this team is playing. Role players, DFS, Vanderbilt. You know, even Jackson Hayes done a nice job down low. You know, obviously going to have to combat Rudy Gobert in some way, shape, or form. So I've been saying all week here on Make It Rain with Adam Schein, you got to give me till Friday on Nuggets Clippers, because I was losing sleep. I was pulling my hair out. I don't like to do that because I have great hair. I never mess around with my hair. I'm picking the Clippers. I'm picking the Clippers tomorrow. I'm picking the Clippers all the way around. This is the toughest series to pick. It's also my favorite series in a related story. I'm Jokic obsessed. I love the Nuggets without Malone. I like how they've played post Malone. They've been running circles post Malone around the opposition, but the Clippers are on fire. I love Ty Lue. I love what we're seeing. It's almost vintage MVP caliber, peak James Harden. Say what you want about Kawhi. We've said it. He knows how to navigate the postseason. I mean, take a look at the juice there when you look at the Clippers and their ability to win this series in 7 games. Plus 600. Plus 600. I could see them winning in Denver. And look at the series winner. In Vegas, it's even. Minus 110, minus 110. So when you look at our best bets coming up for the series and you look at what we like, we're going to go with the over. I'm a big believer. This is my one overplay for the games tomorrow. 223.5. I just can't figure out how you're going to see Denver slow down the offense for the LA Clippers. So I'm going to go with the over here, 223.5, and the Clippers to ultimately take care of business and find a way to win this series. So we are fired up about that. And of course, they tell me that the play-in is tonight. Winner is in the playoffs, and they'll get slaughtered by the 1 seeds, and the losers out. And frankly, I never want to see your collective faces again. So in theory, the pick for tonight is Miami, in theory. I'm just telling you, right? I am not watching this game. I'm going to be watching baseball. I'm not making a play on this game. I don't care about this game. Our producer, Mike Cohen, could tell me who wins. And I'm only exaggerating by a little bit. I mean, the winner of this game is going to get destroyed, absolutely clubbed by the Cleveland Cavaliers, who I think are just being disrespected in a lot of places. So I would not touch this game. We could get punk Trae Young. We could get genius Trae Young. We could get Tyler Hero being a hero, or just sucking the life out of the Miami Heat and playing hero ball. If you're going to make me pick, I'll take Miami because of Spoelstra. I would never touch this game. Mavericks, Grizzlies. Take a look at the point spread in this one. I mean, I'd grab the points with Dallas. I think that Dallas could win. I don't trust Memphis. Ja Morant is not 100%, not even 100% to play in this game. I'll grab the points with the Dallas Mavericks, but please, don't tell me if Dallas makes it, it's going to be OKC is going to be in trouble. Remember what happened last year? That's a loser's take, a loser's lament. OKC is going to sweep whoever they play, and OKC is winning a title.
You're watching Make It Rain on VSiN, the sports betting network.
The NFL draft starts next Thursday. VSiN knows every single pick matters. Tune in for 2 special live shows breaking down every pick from a betting perspective. VSiN Primetime Draft Edition starting at 7 p.m. Eastern, followed by Cashing Out Draft Edition at 11 p.m. Eastern Time. Plus, explore our NFL Draft Hub on the VSiN Watch app, featuring exclusive analysis, team needs, and insights. Visit VSiN.com/draft for full coverage and stream it all live, of course, on the VSiN Watch app. Welcome back. Make It Rain with Adam Schein as we shine on baseball on this very busy Friday. And we do have, as we mentioned, some afternoon baseball, 1 game in action. Cubbies and the Arizona Diamondbacks. And a quick check. It's the same. 2-0. Cubs are leading the Arizona Diamondbacks, and Corbin Burns gave up a couple of runs. I'm a big Corbin Burns fan. He gave up a couple of runs in this one. Cubbies are up 2-0. And, you look at it, Kyle Tucker has a hit. Boy, Kyle Tucker, they're going to have to pay him. I mean, let's be honest. And I say that if you're a Cubs fan, right? And I know there are a lot of Cubs fans over at VSiN. Listen, a lot of Cubs fans watching. I'm hoping as a Yankees fan that Kyle Tucker is a free agent. Kyle Tucker is one of the best all-around players in baseball. So hopefully the Ricketts family treats him the way he should as a superstar. Or if not, hopefully the Steinbrenner family treats him as they should. With that said, let's get into some baseball from last night and some baseball for tonight. And how about my New York Yankees? Hey, 4th straight day, an excellent win for my New York Yankees after busting out the brooms and sweeping away the Kansas City Royals. That was incredible, and that was awesome. They were able to beat the Rays. They were on the road at home, and that was an incredible win. By the way, you look at the Yankees, and this was our best bet, and we hit it, and we appreciate all the nice words. We were piping hot all April. Then we were 0 for 3 on Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday edition of Make It Rain with Adam Schein. So we're back in the winning column with the Yankees on the money line. Warren was atrocious. Aaron Boone did a nice job bringing in Yarborough, former Ray. They were able to get back into this one. He left a lot of runners in scoring position. Ben Rice cooking. Are you kidding me? 4 more hits. Aaron Judge, timely hit to take a lead. That was huge when you look at it from a Yankee perspective. Also, what an absurd embarrassment for Major League Baseball. The fact that you're in a spot in a situation where you have the Rays, a big league team, playing major league games in the Yankees minor league park as fans are chanting MVP for Aaron Judge. What a joke. Speaking of jokes, Jazz Chisholm got ejected after he had a called strike 3, and then he went nuts on Twitter, which I loved as a Yankee fan, not even bleeping close. That was fun. Then he had to delete it because you can't tweet in the middle of games. That's a policy, so that's always fun. By the way, Yankees and the Rangers have tied for the best record. Yankees still the favorites to win the American League. I hope Vegas is right. As you know, we picked the Texas Rangers to ultimately go to the World Series and represent the American League. Honestly, Rangers are the play. And I don't say that with joy or jubilation as a Yankees fan, but, plus 600, yeah, that's the play, that's the bet. I mean, I know it's early, but I got into this with you guys early before the season started on the American League odds. The Orioles are not going anywhere. The Astros are not going anywhere. Weird time in terms of how congested it is in the American League. Rangers are the bet without question. Now, the Rangers beat the Angels last night. They have the Dodgers. They start a series tonight. I can't wait for it. I think the blast that Corey Seager hit is still going. A 427-foot dinger. That was absolutely ridiculous and amazing. And the Rangers, on a night where they were honoring Bruce Bochy, it was his birthday, Rangers able to beat the Angels last night. And how about the Make It Rain with Adam Schein World Series tonight in Texas? This was our prediction with the Dodgers and the Rangers. Yamamoto against DeGrom. Yes, please. Let's go. Cancel all my calls. Mike Cohen, you can text me, our incredible producer. Sean, who's got an Emmy, who runs the audio department for our show in the Vegas studios. You can give me an update on the play-in if you want. Larry can give me an update. I'm not watching the play-in tonight. Hold all my calls. I'm watching the Dodgers and I'm watching the Rangers. Don't bother me tonight. Let's go. This is going to be an unbelievable show. Yamamoto versus DeGrom. I mean, when DeGrom was a Met, it was Happy DeGrom Day because this cat was an absolute freak. I mean, I'm not of the opinion DeGrom's a Hall of Famer. I don't believe that at all. But there is a case to be made that he had a stretch of time that was as majestic as any pitcher in a 3-year stretch in Major League Baseball history. So this is our World Series pick. We had good juice on that before the start of the season. This is going to be an unbelievable battle, and I can't wait for this one. We'll have a couple of plays on this one for our G-Bank Best Bets coming up to close the show. How about our guy, Christopher Sanchez, racked up a career-high 12 strikeouts. Phillies and Giants split their series 2-2. This is a fun series. A couple of teams I enjoy watching. We thought Philly would win last night. We thought Philly would hit on the run line. We said that on yesterday's show. It's close. It also counts. It is also interesting when you take a look at the NL East odds board, because I think this is fascinating from a Philly perspective, factoring in the fact that the Braves are a mess and the Mets, they're obviously a solid team and they had a good win against the Cardinals last night. But look at the odds to win the division. Philly's a legit favorite, and I can absolutely wrap my brain around it. And a top-end starting pitching is part of that, and if they can get that from Sanchez, that's huge. And tonight, I mean, if DeGrom Yamamoto is the signature pitching matchup, Alcantara-Wheeler, that's fun stuff. I'm kind of obsessed with this matchup. I think Sandy Alcantara is an absolute stud. Zach Wheeler is a Cy Young every single year. He's top top handful of pitchers, I believe, that can win the Cy Young, will win the Cy Young. I think he's going to be able to take care of business. That game is going to be ridiculously entertaining tonight. I love pitchers' duels. You can give me Marlins and Phillies tonight. Don't bother me. I'll be watching that before I'm watching the Dodgers, and I'm watching, obviously, the Texas Rangers. Marlins, Phillies, that's going to be a ton of fun tonight. Can't wait for that one coming up. Low scoring, a lot of strikeouts. That's going to be fun with the Phillies and the Marlins. How about our guy, Tyler Soderstrom? Hit his 9th homer of the year. That's tops in the game right now. The A's bust out the brooms, sweep away the Chicago White Sox. I mean, how bad do you have to be if you're the Chicago White Sox, where at the end of the day, you're getting swept by the A's? Like, literally, they don't even have a city. They don't even have a location. They don't have a ballpark. It's the Athletics because they're homeless. I mean, my goodness. By the way, I mentioned Butler. Lawrence Butler is a guy who, in terms of daily props and daily fantasy, good guy to really pay attention to for baseball. Soderstrom is another one. I mean, the A's do have some good young talent. It's really just too bad that their owner is a buffoon. They don't have a stadium. We rant on, obviously, what happens with the Yankees and the Rays. And really, you felt it watching the game last night, and I'm a Yankee fan. It's unfair. Yankees had a home field advantage when you take a look at that. And, now, the A's, you kind of would like to see the A's do something in the AL West, but there's no way to bet on them, no way to pick them. I mean, they've survived the beginning of the year. By the way, feast your eyes on the bottom. I mean, it's not so easy when you can't cheat if you're the Houston Astros. I told you before the season, I don't like the Astros this year. I do not think they're going to be able to get back to the playoffs, and that streak is going to be over. Orioles needed a win in the worst possible way yesterday, and they got one. Gunnar Henderson. When Gunner's got it going on, and he was hurt, in spring training, beginning of the season, he put a charge in one, and that's a big deal. And if you're an Orioles fan, you hope that leads to something in terms of one turning into four by the next, week and a half when it's all said and done. Orioles should be better than what we've seen. I don't think Baltimore is making the playoffs, though. I'll tell you that right now. I did not pick them to make the playoffs preseason. I do not believe in this team. I think this is one where they're right when it comes to the odds with regards to the division. I just think that their plus 425 feels right. I still can't get over the fact on the odds board that we showed before that Baltimore has the 3rd best odds to get to the World Series in the American League. Good job by Gunner. I don't believe in Baltimore, though. I do not like their offseason. I don't like their future for the remainder of the season.
You're watching Make It Rain on VSiN, the Sports Betting Network.
The NFL Draft is one of the few events, when it's all said and done, where the research, which is pretty amazing, when you have the research and it beats all the reputation. The VSiN Pro is going to help you cash in right now. Get VSiN Pro access through August 1st for just $59. Full summer. Sharp betting insights at half the regular price. VSiN Pro, you get daily best bets, sharp insight into NFL draft props, real-time betting splits from DraftKings and Circa, 24/7 video access, VSiN Watch app, full VSiN access to the analytics, the betting trends, the expert breakdowns, from the draft to the derby and beyond. Every sport, every edge, one low price. Sign up now at VSiN.com/subscribe, VSIN.com/subscribe. Welcome back. Make It Rain with Adam Schein. Joining us right now live on the Progressive Guest Line. You know him, you love him, you can't live without him. He is a superstar, the face of SiriusXM NBA Radio, the critically acclaimed host of NBA Today, 4 to 7 p.m. Eastern Time on the aforementioned juggernaut that is Sirius XM NBA Radio. My guy, the great Justin Termine. JT, how are you?
Schein, it's good to be back, and it's nice to be able to talk some intelligent basketball before I hop on my actual show with Eddie Johnson, and it devolves.
Oh, man. Justin, you and Eddie got it going on, and you guys are fantastic, and I love you guys, and I love you, and I love these NBA playoffs. I think it's going to be absolutely incredible. Listen, we know you're a Celtics guy. I feel like this is closer to a sweep than it is 6. I said Boston in 5. Orlando did have some success in the regular season against Boston. Does that mean anything? That's up for debate. It's the Celtics' time to shine. They know how to navigate this. What are you looking for in this series? What are you looking for big picture from your Celtics?
Yeah, I mean, I agree with you. I never pick a sweep, so I'm going with 5 in this as well. And I think that Boston probably would have preferred that they see Atlanta coming out of the play-in, because Orlando, at the very least, is a lot like Houston, although far less talented, where they're going to be really physical with you. So they're going to bang Boston up for the future round. So I don't think they give them a long series, but they give them a physical series. And it's almost like a young Boston team in that Franz Wagner and Paolo Banchero are very similar, I guess, to Jaylen Brown and Jason Tatum. So that's something to look for in the future for Orlando. In regards to Boston, they've struggled at home all year this season, which is odd. They've been tremendous on the road, so I see it going 5. And then big picture with Boston, I really think the only thing that's standing in their way in regards to getting back to the NBA Finals at the very least is the health of Jaylen Brown. The knee doesn't appear that it's 100%. He's supposedly got some injections. If he's 100%, plays like he did last postseason, plus the fact they'll have Porzingis this year, which they didn't really last year in the postseason, then they should be able to at least get back to the finals relatively easily.
Fascinated to get your take on the Bucks and the Pacers. I think this is going to be an amazing series. I don't trust Doc Rivers, but I'm taking Milwaukee. I like the way they've played. Sounds like there's a shot we get Dame back. I hate picking against Rick Carlisle, who I love, Halliburton, who I think is a dog in the best possible way. You know, I really like the Pacers, but the Bucks, they've got it going on. You know, game 1, I think the point's too much. I'm going to take Milwaukee to cover. What's your read on game 1, and what's your pick on the Pacers and Bucks?
Well, at least trust Doc until you get that 3-1 lead, and then after that, most likely he'll end up blowing it. But to pick him to get up at least 3-1. But I'm going to differ from you here. I'm going to go with Indiana, because I think Indiana has been the third best team in the Eastern Conference. I know a lot of people are saying the Knicks. You go back to December 13th, Schein, they've been the 4th best team in the entire NBA. They've only been behind the big 3, Oklahoma City, Cleveland, and Boston. And that's 4 months worth of basketball. And you could say, well, they only do it on one side of the ball because everybody looks at them as an offensive juggernaut but struggling defensively. For 4 months, they were a top 7 defense. So Rick Carlisle really hasn't playing good defensive basketball. In fact, on top of the fact they're really good offensively. The one issue here, though, is Giannis, even though I have him third on my MVP ballot, has actually probably been better than Shai Gilgeous-Alexander and Jokic for the last 3 weeks. If he plays at this level, plus they get Lillard back, they could steal the series, but I would go Indiana here.
Yeah, it really comes down to Giannis for me. It's almost simplistic, but I think it's accurate with the way he's been playing down the stretch of the season. JT, my personal favorite series is Clippers-Nuggets. I'm obsessed. I think it's a flip of the coin series. Literally, you get the same price for both teams in Vegas. I went down to the wire on who I was going to pick in this one. I'm going to take the Clippers. Look, I don't trust James Harden in a big spot, but he's been terrific. You know, say what you want about Kawhi. I've said it. You've said it. He obviously is a prolific postseason performer. I love Ty Lue. I'm obsessed with Jokic. I love how the Nuggets have played post Malone, but I'm going to take the Clippers in 7. Who you got in this one?
You're picking right here, because I think the Clippers have the best shot of dethroning the Thunder. Now, they got in the tough side of the bracket where they got to face Oklahoma City in the second round, and they have to face Denver in the first round. I think they're the second best team in the Western Conference, Schein. They're 18-3 in their last 21 games. And, nobody's going to stop Jokic. Zubac might be the best guy to slow him down. He's on a lot of people's ballots for Defensive Player of the Year. He was my most improved player. He's been awesome. And then I think the key to this series is, one, Jamal Murray's not 100% healthy. Shocker, because that seems to happen every postseason. And number two is the guys they can throw at Jamal Murray. Chris Dunn is a perfect defender for Jamal Murray. He's going to slow him down, turn Jokic into a scorer, stymie Murray with guys like Chris Dunn, maybe a little Ben Simmons and Kawhi Leonard. And Denver's going to have a lot of trouble winning this series. So I'm going with the Clippers here, just like you.
Fascinated to get your take on my Knicks and the Pistons. I'm going to game one. By the way, I'm grabbing the points with the Pistons. I think 7.5 is way too much. I think the series is going at least 6, and I'm surprised how many people think it's going to be easy for New York. Look, I'm never going to, as a Knicks fan, poo-poo 51-31, but this team is supposed to be in the same sentence or category as Boston, Cleveland, compete for the Eastern Conference Championship. They're not even close. Bridges, and I love the deal when they made it, has been a failure. There's been something off on this team. I think the Pistons are going to fight in this one. I've got the Knicks in 6.
Yeah, I'm going with the Knicks in 6 here as well. And there is something off in New York. I don't know if it's something with the chemistry. That's what I've heard from behind the scenes, that they're not all on board. And then just from a personnel perspective, even if the chemistry is rosy, defensively, they just can't compete with some of the other teams in the Eastern Conference. Now, they can do that with Detroit. Cade Cunningham's been fantastic, I think, in the 4 games that they played because of the drop coverage that the Knicks play. And they're going to attack Karl Anthony Towns. They're going to attack Brunson. I expect probably some big games here from Cade Cunningham, but ultimately, I think New York wins, but that's where it stops. The New York has an advantage clearly in this series. I think after that, they have no shot against Boston. Maybe to push it to 6 games against Boston, more likely a 5-game series.
Fascinated to get your take on Lakers Timberwolves. I want to be respectful here because I think the games will be great. I just love what J.J. Redick's doing. Luka Doncic torched the Timberwolves last year. I don't know if the Timberwolves are playing well or they're, and I mean this as a compliment, they've taken advantage of inferior teams down the stretch of the season. I love the Lakers laying the 4 tomorrow. I like the Lakers, JT, in 5.
Yeah, 5 or 6, I'm with you. And the thing about Minnesota is they're just a really hard team to get a finger on because I think they got the wildest swing, right? They're capable of beating the Lakers. They're capable of beating Oklahoma City. Maybe not in a 7-game series, Oklahoma City, but they're also capable of like losing to the Pelicans as they did last month, losing to the Jazz as they did, even when they were playing good basketball. So they're very finicky, and they're just a wide range of where they could end up.
Warriors, Rockets. I love Golden State, and understand I'm not one of those who, has been thinking, okay, Golden State's going to find a way to win the West or beat OKC or beat the Lakers or the Clippers. And I know they played down the stretch of the season and Houston won, but I understand why Golden State is a heavy favorite. Look, Jimmy Butler's crazy, but he's also one of the most prolific postseason playoff performers in the last 20 years in the sport. Steph is Steph, Kerr is Kerr. Who do you like in this one, JT?
Well, if you think Jimmy's crazy, you got a lot of crazy guys in this series because you got him, you got Draymond Green, you got Dylan Brooks on the other side. I think it's going to be physical. Unfortunately, we're going to end on a little bit of a disagreement. I would have said about a week ago, I would have picked Golden State in this one. I'm going to lean towards Houston because I think Golden State's starting to look a little fatigued. They're relying too much on 2 guys. It's Curry and it's Jimmy Butler. And if those guys don't combine for 70 points, I'm not sure they're going to be able to win. And if they do win this series, at the very least, they're going to get beat up. And in the next round, have trouble against the Lakers. I just love this Amen Thompson defensively. And I think defensively, they're going to have a major problem scoring is Golden State.
I love that you went with Houston because you watch it and you get it. And that's what makes you great. Keep Eddie Johnson in line. We'll be listening, of course, on NBA radio. And as always, JT, great stuff.
Eddie watches too, but I think he drinks when he watches based off some of his opinions.
You're watching Make It Rain on VSiN, the sports betting network.
Final segment, Make It Rain with Adam Schein. On a Friday, News, Notes, Nuggets, Nightly Place. We have an update with Dayball. Cubs, Diamondbacks. The Diamondbacks are on the board. Oh, look at that graphic. Look at that moving baseball in the bat. Love Dayball. I mean, those guys in the Vegas control room, Sean, Larry, you know, people think they're just sitting back and eating bonbons. No, these guys got it going on. 2-1. Cubbies are leading the Arizona Diamondbacks. Was 2-0. Little nugget for you on Carson Kelly, right, who hit a home run today for the Cubbies. He's got a .429 batting average, .585 on base. He's got a slugging percentage, 1.071, 5 homers, 15 RBI, 11 walks against 4 strikeouts on the season. These Nuggets, courtesy of our good friend, the great Jeff Passan over at ESPN. And he is really an outstanding young talent. And he hit a home run today. That's some good stuff if you're a fan of the Chicago Cubs. If you're a fan of hockey, you got to be all fired up for the playoffs starting. We locked in our playoff picks on yesterday's sizzling edition of Make It Rain with Adam Schein. How about Alexander Ovechkin? Are you kidding me? What a way to score a goal in the final game of the regular season, the season where you became, when it was all said and done, the all-time goal scorer in the history of the National Hockey League. .897 for Ovi. And take a look at the playoff outlook here for the Capitals. And he scores .897, does it against Crosby, who all the puck heads compare Ovi to Crosby. You know, I've been ahead of the curve on Ovi, ahead of Crosby. And I give you that to give you this. I just want one more cup for him. I want him to be entrenched as a legend. I don't want to fight people anymore. I'm sick of fighting people on the legacy of Alexander Ovechkin. 11-1 to win the Stanley Cup, plus 500 to win the East. Now, I don't want to sound like I'm talking out of both sides of my mouth. I'm not picking them. I'm not necessarily rooting for them. They're my number 2 team in terms of storyline I'm rooting for. Team I'm picking is Toronto, and I want Toronto to win the Eastern Conference. It would be amazing for the long-suffering fans, but it's going to be very interesting to see how this plays out here in the Eastern Conference. Now, in the NFL, we always say same old Jets. Can we say the same in the National Hockey League as well? I would like you guys to take a look at the Jets Blues series odds. And this is a 1 versus 8. All you need to know, it's only plus 160 for the Blues to upset the Jets. Jets are only a favorite here where, you know, it's minus 190. I'm telling you, I'm calling it right now. I'm calling it. I'm picking it. I'm betting it. I'm playing it. Let's go Blues 8-1 over the Jets. Blues play Gloria, as they did a few years ago. Plus 650, Blues in 7. Blues in 7. We will write that puppy in. In fact, our producer Mike Cohen is literally writing that in as we speak. That's right. We will take the Blues. Plus 650. That's right. We go big or go home. And we're going big, and we might go home. How about Florida and Tampa? And this is one that's fun. Obviously, a couple teams that have championship pedigree. And Florida won the Cup last year, and the Marchand trade was great. I like the Lightning. I do. And we talked to Mike so much about this yesterday. I'll take Tampa to win at minus 105. I'll take Tampa in 7. But for the sake of betting purposes, let's go with Tampa minus 105. Tampa minus 105. I am really excited for this matchup when it comes to the Eastern Conference. And how about the Oilers and the Kings? And, you know, this is one that certainly is fascinating when, you know, I feel like every single year they're matched up against each other in the postseason. I'm picking the Oilers to win the series. I'm not messing around with games. I'm not, you know, doing any of that. Minus 135, Connor McDavid, not losing to the LA Kings, just not going to happen. So we're going to lock in the Oilers here to ultimately take care of business. And yeah, we're just going to do it. What could possibly go wrong? It'll be the Leafs' time to shine. I mean, let's go. And it's about time, and all the elements are there. Like, the sports gods have to deliver us either Ovechkin winning the East or the Maple Leafs. And for those long-suffering Maple Leafs fans and Toronto sports fans, let's go. And it's a real simple play of, Maple Leafs minus 170. I'm not going to get too nuts. I'm not going to get crazy. You can parlay it, if you want to do an all Canada thing, if that'll make you happy with Edmonton for more action and more juice in terms of who wins the first round series. Leafs minus 170. And it's interesting, when you look at the Stanley Cup odds board, I just want to stress how I really think the Leafs can navigate. And I think the Maple Leafs absolutely have a great opportunity to ultimately, at 11-1, be a good bet. Our preseason pick was Oilers, Maple Leafs. We're going to stay with it. I think the Avalanche could have something to say about that. I think that they can absolutely take care of business. I think Vegas has a great matchup in the first round. I think Vegas will be in the conversation. Capitals, we're rooting for Ovi. I'll stay with the Maple Leafs and the Oilers. Well, it's pretty crystal clear that Cleveland Browns general manager Andrew Berry has been watching Make It Rain with Adam Schein. Did you hear what the Browns GM said yesterday? Compared Travis Hunter to Shohei Ohtani? Is there an echo in here? Would never be an echo on our end because Sean, our audio director, has an Emmy that would never actually happen. But thank you, Andrew Berry, for going with our comparison, which is why we're doing the Travis Hunter draft pick odds. And I talked to our friend Thomas Dimitroff, former Falcons GM and now lead executive for Sumer Sports, on my SiriusXM radio show today. He was stunned when he compared Hunter to Ohtani, because basically he's telling you that he's not passing on Babe Ruth or Shohei Ohtani, which is why the Vegas odds are at minus 800. And I'm of the opinion, just like Ruth and Ohtani, eventually you have to choose. I think Hunter will be in the cornerback, defensive back meeting rooms, be a full-time corner, and I think he'll play on offense and on wide receiver. But to me, I think that Hunter is a no-brainer. And when you look at the Browns' futures, and I think it's important here, it's just 4.5. I mean, today's a good time, 6 days before the draft, to lock in the over. I'm not talking playoffs. I'm just saying don't truly suck. Browns, 5 wins, minus 160. You're welcome, America. Yesterday, my guy Aaron Rodgers had a lengthy 45-minute interview with our guy Pat McAfee, AJ, the boys, on ESPN, and we had a lot of takes on it, But the number one take for our purposes, for our show and the betting, that everything that goes into it, the Pittsburgh Steelers should not wait for Aaron Rodgers. And I still think Rodgers could play, has a lot of gas left in the tank. I'm a Rodgers fan, Rodgers believer. I think Rodgers should wait for Minnesota. I think Minnesota should have interest. I think New Orleans makes sense. This was always a terrible fit. And if I'm the Steelers, I would never sign Aaron Rodgers. And if I'm Rodgers, I don't want to go to the Steelers. And that came through and poured through during the interview with McAfee yesterday, which leads me to Shedeur Sanders. If you're Pittsburgh, we've been saying this, find a way to trade up for Shedeur Sanders. And there was odds movement after the interview with McAfee. And there should be. And why not? Listen, I think the Saints, the Steelers, the Giants all need to be super aggressive when it comes to Shedeur. I don't think he's going in the top 3, but I think he could play. And I think it makes a lot of sense to go after him. Time right now to give out our best bets. Brought to you by G-Bank, official bank of Visa. G-Bank up in the old ante with up to a $750 bonus for new G-Bank Visa Signature Card customers. First new customers spending $1,000 on eligible purchases in 90 days from account opening get a $250 bonus. In addition, if you spend $50,000 on gaming and sports app loads in 30 days of account opening, you'll receive another $500 bonus. That's potentially a $750 bonus. Apply now. Visa.com/GBank. Visa.com/GBank. Subject to credit approval. Terms and conditions apply. I told you, don't bother me tonight. I'm watching baseball. Let's go with Yamamoto and DeGrom pitching against each other. both on the over for strikeouts. Juice attached to DeGrom. By the way, first time Jacob DeGrom has been an underdog in a game that he started since 2019. Little nugget for you. And we have Wheeler, Alcantara, so we'll go with the under tonight for the Marlins and the Phillies. Thank you to our outstanding crew in Vegas. Sean made it for a full week. What a hero. What a legend. Thanks to Mike Cohen, our incredible producer. Happy Easter. Talk to you Monday. Make it rain with Adam Schein.